em go back to Facebook. And then when it live, bây giờ mình muốn làm gì là go live là em chào liền, rồi em go back to your Adobe Photoshop, em tự em làm liền. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Go live em chào liền ha.
You want me? I can talk in English, right?
Yeah, speak English.
So it's already connected?
No, it's connected, but we don't
go live.
Okay. Like, khi mà go live, I'm ready. And then you go to Adobe Photoshop, you do it, right?
Okay. I can mess up, right?
It doesn't matter, yeah, you can mess up.
Go live?
Yeah. Chưa, okay. Rồi qua bên cái Adobe Photoshop làm đi. Okay, em phải coi cái kia nó hiện lên.
Hello everyone! Today we're going to do an Adobe Photoshop tutorial. So what we want to do today is to take this picture and add this pretty lady sitting next to this gentleman. Alright, so this picture is pretty good in itself. Make it larger here so you can see it. So there's space right next to him to add somebody. So first we need to trim this lady out of this background, and then so we can put her over to this one. So let's start with her. And we can do a rough removal of the background right now. Just kind of select what we want to crop out. And I usually use the crop tool, but here we can use on the left hand side here, it's the lasso tool. And Polygono is probably the easiest to use right now. So you want to click, drag, click, basically following the outline of the picture that you want to save. So we're going to go ahead and do that here. And then we'll do the fine trimming after we remove all this excess. Okay, you double click once you connect the dots there, and now you want to select inverse and hit the delete key on your keyboard, and you've removed most of the background there. Alright, so let's choose our arrow tool again, and we're going to make this image a little larger. I think this is probably the hardest part of editing in Photoshop, is to remove the background. So now there's several choices you can use. You can use the Polygono, the lasso tool again in greater detail. I like to use the eraser tool. I have better control over that. If I'm doing this on something like a touch screen, then I use the pencil, and that is probably the best way to do the editing for Photoshop, is on something where you have control, like with a pencil or pen. Alright, so let's use our eraser here. We need to see what size we're using. So I click on the eraser tool, and I have size 13. I do want it to be a hard erase, and I want the eraser to be a little larger, so I'll use a size 34. And you can see here this circle is the size of the eraser. That's a bit too big, so let's make it a little smaller here. So let's go down to a size 20. Okay, I think we can work with this. And you want to zoom in on your picture, and usually do that by holding down Control on your keyboard and the plus sign, and that will allow you to zoom in to your picture. And then just start cleaning it up. Okay, I'm afraid of, okay, so this is still good. The other thing that I like to use before we go further with that eraser tool is your wand tool. The wand tool will select colors that are similar. So let's say this area here between her legs, the bottom of her, near her feet here, we're going to go ahead and click on that, and you see how it highlights this entire area. We'll go ahead and hit delete, and that cleans it up a lot for us. Okay, so there's enough shadowing, I think, with her white jeans where it won't confuse it with the white background. So we'll leave it as is for now. Otherwise, we might want to change the background to a different color so that it doesn't cause problems later on for us. But you see how this wand tool is really helping me to remove a lot without having to do the fine erasing. Again, it's a bit rough, so if you need to do something that's a little more detailed, then you'll want to use the eraser tool or, you know, with a smaller eraser also. Okay, so we have some of these areas here. And make sure it's not highlighting something that you want to keep. That's the other thing you have to watch out for. Okay, right here on the stone area. Okay, let's move to our feet again. See, like right here, if I highlight this brown, it matches the brown in her hair, so it's choosing everything. So if I were to hit delete, it's going to delete into her hair like that, which we don't want to do. So I'll do Control-Alt-Z to undo it, and then we'll have to clean that area up another way. Here there's a large contrast between her black shirt and the wall, so I think I won't have any problems with using the wand tool. There you go. Again, this is a very, very rough removal of the background. Alright, so let's go back to our eraser now. If you see these little lines like ants running around your picture, just hit Control D and that'll deselect everything, otherwise you'll have some trouble moving on to your next tool. I'm going to use the eraser again, and then I'm going to go around her head and shoulder areas here. And here we want to zoom in also so we don't miss any of the details. And of course I need to make my eraser a little bit smaller so I can get into those little crevices. But let's do the rough erasing right now. Okay, let's make the size of our eraser a little smaller here. So let's go back down to that size 12, 13 that we had earlier. And we'll clean up some of these areas. This work usually takes a lot of time, so you have to be patient with it. And as you see, I'm using the edge of my brush most of the time, or the edge of my eraser. I'm not using the entire eraser. Alright, so there's our girl, roughly cleaned up. Let's see a few more spots here. Alright, so now we hit the wand tool, and if we hit on the right or the white area, it outlines her. And also don't forget this little space in between her arms, so we need to highlight that also. So that's basically the background that we want to get rid of. And you see how there's still a little bit edge around this entire picture. So what I'm going to do is go to Select, Modify, and I'm going to expands. So what this will do is it'll widen the area that it's selected. And I want it to go with, let's do 2 pixels. And then if we hit OK, you'll see how it moved the lines from outside inside. So let me show that to you again real quick. So see, so it had selected what was around her originally. I did the refine edge or modify the expanding of the edge. And then this is what it does now. So this girl, I'm okay. Maybe that might be too much, right? It's taking away too much of the picture. So let's go back to select, modify, expand, and instead of 2, we'll just do 1 pixel right now. So I think, okay, so that's acceptable. I'm okay with losing everything out there. So if you hit the delete key, it's going to delete off whatever's in this white area up to these little ant lines. So go ahead and hit delete and let's see what it looks like. All right. Control D to remove, and you can see the picture is pretty much cleaned up. The other thing you can also do is, again, select the edges, modify, and you can smooth. And let's say we want to smooth it out by 2 pixels. Or I can also select, inverse, and I'll select my picture itself, and then I will go to smooth also. So it'll be smooth on her side also. Okay, so we're good there, I think. Again, I'm just doing a quick tutorial to give you a general idea of how you would edit these pictures. Let me try to see if I can get my window back to what it was. Okay, that's fine. All right, we're almost done with the girl here. So we are selecting, again, we want to select her. So I clicked on the white space. I'm going to go select inverse. And we're going to go Control C on our keyboard to copy her. Now let's move over to the picture with the gentleman. Okay, so here, give me a moment. Let me just adjust my window here. Okay, so let's paste our girl up here. Control V. There she is. Now you see how she's a bit too big for this picture, and she's also facing the wrong direction, unless you wanted to hold her like this, right? But no, we want her leaning against him. So we'll have to flip her picture. And somehow I've lost my window here. Oh, here. Maybe this will do it. No. Trying to get back to, get out of this full screen. Any ideas? All right, we'll just work with her right now. I want to view the layers window. Sorry, I hit something and it expanded my window out too big for comfort here. There you go. Okay, so I guess a double click on the top toolbar does it. All right, what's very important here is look on the right hand side. There's this layer window, and you can see that our background and then our layer. If I hit on this little I key, you can see how she disappears. But that's how you can manipulate your screen so that you can view whatever it is you need to work on. Okay, so let's work with our girl here. We need to flip her around. So you would go to Edit, make sure you've highlighted her layer, and then you go to Edit, Transform, and I need to rotate or flip her horizontally There she goes. And now I'm going to move her over so I can kind of get an idea of where she's sitting. I don't think she'll look good if she's on there, but let's have her sit on the ground next to him. How's that? Okay, but we're going to resize her first. So go Edit, Free Transform. And the key to this is to hold down the Control key as you're moving these corners up and down so that it keeps your picture in perspective. Otherwise, you're going to have it either too long or too short. So you want to hold down the Control key. And, oh, this one is not the one tool that we want, so let's do this here. Okay. Edit, Free Transform. Okay. So, hold down the Control key. Oh, why is it doing this to me? Let's see. Okay, there you go. Okay, Control key, and you can, it's kind of, you see how you also have this choice to change the perspective of how she is? If you decide that's not what you want, you can always hit this circle with a cross sign on it, so it means that you want her to return to original. So again, let's go Edit, Free Transform, and there you go. This is what we want. So we have her sitting right here, which I think fits. If she were to sit here, there's not really enough room. She'd have to be right here. So you can play around with this and see if it's what you want. We can make her a little bit bigger, but just the perspective, she doesn't look very right. So I'm going to have her, she could sit like right there, leaning up against his foot, his leg. Something about her though also is she's a bit too small still. There you go. I think that's the right size, maybe. And have her a little bit slimmer. There you go. Let's see how that looks. Can you move her out a little bit?
Is she a little bigger than him?
She's a little bigger than him? Okay. Let's free transform again. And like that, maybe? She's too squished in now. Okay, there you go. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to put her here so we can kind of see her size compared to him. Edit, Free Transform, and let's make her, she needs to be a little shorter. Like that?
Yeah, that's right.
It's too small though, right?
Too small.
Okay, so
Can she sit the other side? Right, or the other way?
And have her legs like that over him? Like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
How about, yeah, that's why it's just look good there, yeah. Very real picture.
Okay, so she's sitting on the rock itself. Like that?
Yeah.
So, does she still look a bit, she's towards the front, so she should be a little bit bigger, right? She's like in front of him. So again, this is where all your artistic skills come in, and you can do whatever it is that you want. So I'm going to do this so that she's kind of off the picture a bit, but that's fine. I think this works here. What do you think of that?
Okay, that's good.
Does he need another girl over here? There's too much space. That's fine. Okay, so we'll do that. I think her sizing is right because she's towards the front, so it'll be okay, right? I want to kind of zoom in and take a look. Do her feet look normal? I think her feet are okay, right? Nobody will really notice. Maybe she's missing a toe or two. No.
Maybe you need to put another girl.
Another girl?
Yeah, to sit like him. Sitting like him.
But we'd have to go find another girl.
So two girls.
Alright, Alan, let's see where we would find another girl here. So I'm going to go to Google. I don't know if it's capturing this on the screen or not, but I'm trying to look for a girl sitting.
How about this guy? Sitting. on the rock.
Okay. Alright, so I found another girl that we're going to work with. Here she is. So let's do the same. And we have to remove her background also. Using the wand tool right now to remove her background, since most of the background is like the same color, so I think it will be easy for us here. Alright, so now I'm going to go in with my eraser tool and clean out. Let's make that a little bit bigger. Do a 20. Okay, I'm going to make my eraser even larger here. I think this image is maybe a bit big. Okay, but we'll resize it. Okay, so we're just erasing out the backgrounds that we weren't able to remove. Oops. I did that too much, so I'm going to go Control-Alt-Z to undo it. And I'll just erase again, redo it. Alright. I wanted to show you also, let's say you have an area like this that's very similar color. One kind of selection you can do is go to Select, Color Range, and you will choose to pick the colors that you want to erase. So let's say I want this grayish color. So you can hold down the Shift key to choose a range of colors also. And you can kind of see here on the picture all the white areas, that's everything that's going to be deleted. So we don't want, we're going to subtract out this area here. So it might not be the best for this picture, but sometimes that's a tool you can use so that it will select everything that color for you. I'm going to go ahead and continue using the eraser tool on this specific picture though. Again, I'm doing a very rough eraser job here. And you can mix between, you know, like your eraser tool, your selection tool. I see a bit of a problem there, but okay, that should be okay. Alright, let's go ahead and erase these little gray spots. You also think about your big picture. Sometimes you don't need to do very fine work because it's going to blend into the background of your other picture's background. So those are some things you can keep in mind also. Right here, this is a shadow area. I really don't need this. I also wanted to show you with this lasso tool. You can actually select. So let's say we go polygono. So if I do very fine lines here, you can see how I can actually outline the image just like I would be doing with a pen. Again, I highly recommend if you're able to use like an iPad or something where you're able to draw on the image on the screen with a pen-like instrument. That makes life a lot easier for you. Okay, so we've selected that. We'll delete it out. So that's another tool you can use there for selection. eraser tool in this area. So know your tools and know which one it's easier for you to use at which time. We are using images from Google, so they're not our images, so thank you for the people who have provided these pictures. And again, we're just doing this to kind of show you a tutorial on how to edit pictures. Alright, a few more touches here and we'll be almost done. Okay, let's take a look at her big picture. Okay, I think she's okay. So we'll go ahead and again select our white background. Everything selected is okay. We're going to go ahead and expand that. Select, modify, expand, and I'll expand it by 1 pixel. I think on her we can actually do the 2 pixels so it goes a little deeper in. And okay, that's good. And then we will go ahead and delete. So we'll delete the background. And I'm going to go select inverse, so it selects her outline. And then modify and smooth. And we'll smooth it by 2 pixels also. So I think she's good to go here. We have her selected, so we'll go Control C on the keyboard to copy her over to our first picture. So let's add her in. She's huge, right? So,
wow, that's cool.
So now, of course, you need to transform her. So we'll go free transform. Here, you can move her around. You see how big she is right now? So in this case, because she's so big, let's see if we can find her edges. If we can't find her edge, then here, we can find her edge. Then you would want to resize it from the original photo. Okay, so I'm holding down the Control key, and I'm dragging this. Oh, you know what? It's not the Control key, it's the Shift key. So every time I hold down the Control key, it tilts the picture. Okay, so let's do that again. Edit, free transform, find your edges. Here's the corner. Hold down the Shift key, and that's where you drag. Drag her in until she's resized the way that you want her to be. Almost there. Alright, she's almost the size we need her to be. Alright, so we want her sitting right here then, right? And just have her sitting right there. And let's look at the big picture. I think she's sized just right. What do you think?
Exactly.
Yeah? Okay.
So now, can you smooth it down?
Yeah. The thing is, you see how the colors are different? She's very in the brown reddish range, whereas she's in a very light. There's a different lighting source for her. So what I want to try to do is let's hide our second girl, and let's from here, or actually, so with these 2 people here, we want to select those 2 layers, and we're going to go ahead and go to layer and merge layers. So now they're in the same family, and then I'm going to go to image and auto tone. We'll try this first, see if it works. Okay, so that kind of changed the color a bit. Let's see your auto color. I don't like it. It kind of made the background too light, so we'll go Control Z. So I think their colors are okay. Now let's add this other girl in. She's very brown, or very light, right? So let's add her, let's see, let's change her color first. So make sure we highlight her as our layer that we're working on. We're going to go to Image, And then we're going to go to adjustments, and let's play with her coloring a little bit here. So we'll go with the color balance, and I think she needs to be a little bit more red to meet the front coloring. And you can see as you move these things here, it'll update your picture here. So she needs a bit too yellow, so we need to add her blue, right? I need her red tone needs to go up a little bit. Of course, we picked this image really quick, so it's not optimal or the perfect thing for this image, this background that we have, but we're doing what we can with it to make it look a little better. That makes her too green, so not too brown. Okay, that one in the middle, and you can just slide the scale and you can see how her picture is changing. I think I like her with that yellow, but we need to add her a little more red. Okay, so let's say okay. It's not exactly everything, but let's try it. Okay, and then also go to image, adjustments, brightness, contrast. We can make her a little bit darker. There you go. So again, you can just play around, and that's the great thing about Adobe Photoshop is that you don't have to stick with one thing. You can save the image and then come back later, look at it, and then change it again. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the color again because I think I made her a bit too red here. Adjustments and color balance. Okay, I think she's just right. Oh.
Is something behind her?
It's the rock.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's have her kind of move up, sitting up here. Okay, I think that might be okay. So let's go ahead and
Smooth her.
yeah, well, let's see. What does she look like? You see there's some extra skin here, so I might want to get my eraser out and kind of clean that up. Oops. And make my eraser smaller. Okay, I think there's something on her shoulder area. There you go. That was a little bit extra there. Okay. I think her knee's okay right there, or did you want to erase her knee, that part? Like it's behind the elbow. So like we can erase her knee a little bit right here. Then I'll make it look like it's behind his elbow. Okay, so what I would do is I would make her opacity like a little bit lighter so you can kind of see where his elbow is. Do you see that? I made her lighter, and now I can see exactly where his elbow is. So I can do the erase, and what I'm erasing here.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. Let's see, and then
Yeah,
I'll make
cool.
her at 100% again. Let's see if that works. Oh, we still did a little bit too much, so let's try again. See if that works. Nope. Okay, so that way it kind of like there's a relationship between the two pictures. Her coloring is still a bit off, but I think we'll leave it for now. And then, so if we add her to the layer, we'll go image or layer, merge down. So now all three persons are merged onto the same picture. And let's try to do another color adjustment. Go auto tone, auto color, and auto contrast. Okay, so I think the image looks pretty much okay for quick work. So there's our guy with his two new girls. So that's a quick lesson on how to edit and take one person and bring them to another place. Hope you enjoyed that. And comment down below and subscribe to the Alan Bao live show. Thank you for watching, everybody.
Thank you very much. Okay, we need to start. Go to back to OBS. Yeah, stop recording.